greatest.
The Tainted Love Network presents It's Getting Drafty in Here with Magnificent Stan, a show about nothing.
Well, what's the show about? About nothing.
With special guests.
We're on the clock.
Then when are we sending in the ticket?
I already sent the ticket.
Hello, welcome to episode 9 of It's Getting Drafty in Here. I am your host, Magnificent Stan, otherwise known as Brian. Today is Sunday, February 12th, 2023. It's I can't use the actual term, but it's the day for the big football game. How stupid is that? That's really silly. But today we're going to be discussing football. We're going to be drafting our all-time favorite players. On the show today, we have our buddy Brew Hand Luke. How you doing, pal?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm good. Just out here drinking some, Sunday morning mimosas. Enjoying this draft. Looking forward to it.
Right on. I got vodka in here. I really don't, but all right. I also got from Tainted Glove Network, Yumper and Svo at the show. We got Svo. What's up, bud?
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me on, man. This is my favorite thing to talk about in the whole world. This is college football, so I appreciate you.
It's like your Christmas day, isn't it?
It is. It is my high holy holiday.
Right on.
Oh,
So
and by the way,
today-
I'm having a cherry 7-Up Zero. If everybody's talking about what they're drinking, so
Right on. All right. So, rules for the draft. We're going to each draft 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a defense. We're going by, just all-time great players. Not necessarily just Super Bowl performance, but just all around. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. Luke, you have the number 1 selection.
Okay, I'm going to start with Cade McNown. No, I'm not. I'm not starting with Cade McNown.
nope, he already called it, bro. You got to put that on the board. The ticket's in.
With the first pick in the Super Mimosa Sunday draft, Luke selects Henry Burris.
This really was the easiest thing in the world to have the 1-1 for a NFL all-time draft.
Mark Bavaro, right?
Yes, Mark Bavaro.
Okay.
This guy is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers legend, soon to be Hall of Famer.
Wow, you went Mike Allstott. Wow.
Thirst trap.
Joliet Catholic, baby.
That's right. Mike Allstott was Joliet Catholic. Thirst trap extraordinaire. I almost decided to replicate his attire for his, tweet where he posted, just in his boxer briefs and covering up his junk. I don't know why he covered up his junk. Like, what was that all about? But I got to go with the guy, Tom Brady, the Michigan man, the 7-time Super Bowl champion, the GOAT. I mean, it's self-explanatory.
Typing skills are terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. There's really no need to explain why you're picking Tom Brady.
It picks itself. I mean, there's a couple you could possibly pick first if you but yeah, I mean, this isn't the wrong selection.
No.
He has every record and he's won 7 Super Bowls. I mean, what else does he need to do at this point? He has almost 100 more touchdowns than the next guy. He's got almost 10,000 yards more than Drew Brees did. It's and he played until he was like 68 years old. So he's like Jose Contreras. You don't know how old he is.
It's still up for debate if he is or isn't going to return. I mean, we'll see.
I think if a good team has someone fall down in week 4, week 5, I think he'll just start getting himself ready. Yeah. I mean, if he'd have done that for this year, he probably would be in the Super Bowl today for the 49ers.
The 49ers, yeah, you're not wrong.
Because they had so many injuries, it would have come down to that. They would have said, "Fuck Brock Purdy, we're going to throw Tom Brady out there."
Yeah.
But all right. So that's number 1, Tom Brady. Svo, we going quarterback here, or are we going elsewhere?
Hell no, Luke, you just made my decision super easy. We go with the greatest running back of all time, HBCU graduate, Chicago legend. I was gonna go Cedric Benson, but yeah, you're absolutely right. No, we go Walter Payton, man. That made my job and my life really easy. So thank you, Luke, for taking the obvious at 1-1.
His name is Sweetness, and he likes to dance.
Running the ball is like making romance.
Yeah. He. I don't really have much to say about Walter Payton. He was the best football player. I don't think he was the best pure running back ever, but he's the best football player ever.
No, but if you put Walter Payton in front and behind that Cowboys offensive line of the 90s, and he's got 30,000 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Like Emmitt Smith was a good running back, and I'm not knocking him, but he had the benefit of those Cowboys offensive lines in the 90s.
Yeah.
And Walter Payton would have had 30,000 fucking rushing yards.
I totally agree with
Walter
you.
Payton also played on some really shitty Bears teams.
Oh, there were some awful ones there. Yeah. He managed to do a whole lot with not a lot, with so little,
And the man is responsible for my love of football. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and people our age really only got to see the tail end of it. We didn't even get to see like peak Peyton. We saw him when he was. I don't want to use the word broken down, but he wasn't as like him at 80% was better than anybody. So
I do have like a small fun little story about Walter Payton. My dad took me to the auto show when I was still small enough, believe it or not, to like sit on his shoulders. And the crowd around Walter Payton was massive, but I got a little fist bump with Walter Payton at the auto show. That's my Walter Payton experience.
So you guys were best friends after that?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works. You fist bump a celebrity, you guys are best friends.
Best friends.
Best friends forever. You're the 2 best friends that anyone ever had.
That anyone could have.
All right, I'm going to go here. You know what? And it's funny he says this. Because I am going with I can't tell you if I would have picked him above Peyton. I think he's the best pure running back to ever play the game. Both, I mean, and you guys are college nerds. When I say this, best college running back as well as the best professional running back, I'm going to go Barry Sanders.
He's so fucking good.
He's so good. Like and it's so hard for me to say that because he was the Detroit Lion his whole career.
Right.
But
well, I mean, that's something to feel sorry about him. I think more than to dislike him, because the Lions were never really a threat to us at any point. And he used to run over us. I mean, that guy was fucking tiny, and he's still running people over. He shifted his hips better than anybody ever. And he stepped away when he was still the best in the game.
Absolutely. So. And as far as your comments about like best college running back of all time, like, you're not wrong. It could be Barry Sanders, but the other one that I have to say and have to admit is Herschel Walker. Walker was like I mean, he's a fucking tool, and I hate him, and I hope he gets herpes. But he would have been the other pick for best college running back of all time.
I like Sam's comments. And Reggie Bush is one of the best ever too.
Everyone knows Shaq got rich by playing in college.
Yeah, Barry Sanders, like if you're talking non-Chicago Bears players in the NFL, he's one of my all-time favorite football players who I've watched. And like it drove me insane with how good he was watching him against the Bears as a kid, and just being a dumb kid thinking the Bears are so bad. It's like, why the fuck can't they tackle this guy? Right. Stop him.
Nobody can tackle. Yeah.
How can they not stop this guy? And then looking back as I grew older, I'm like, God damn, he was so fucking good. Like he was the smartest guy ever to retire at the age he retired at and say, fuck it, I'm done. I got a long life ahead of me. I made my money. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm looking here. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. I'm going to share the screen. This is the rushing totals of all time. I don't know if it's kind of hard to see actually, but
I can see it.
So you look at Barry Sanders. Look at how many less carries he had than everybody else. He's the only in the top 26 here. He's the only him and Jim Brown are the only two that averaged over 5 yards carry or 5 or more. So I mean that's he did more with I mean you were talking about Walter Payton doing more with less. I mean this guy had nothing.
Yeah, no, and you're not wrong.
You know, look at
But
the court.
two totally different running styles,
Yeah,
but two
absolutely.
totally like sexy.
It was very very poetic kind
Absolutely.
of. Yeah, very like you could tell like these guys were fucking ballerinas on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a Bugs Bunny cartoon with Barry Sanders. So my next pick, my turnaround pick here, going to go with the best wide receiver in the history of the game. I'm going to Jerry Rice.
Great pick.
You could argue that he had two of the best quarterbacks of the era. I would argue that he made two of the best quarterbacks of the era, just as much as he made them, they made him. Yeah, I mean, how many? He had almost 200 touchdowns. Yeah, 197 touchdowns, and the next one in terms of receiving was 156. So he had legitimately. I don't think anybody's ever gonna get to him in terms of yards. He has 22,000 yards, and the next person on that list has 17,000. So
that's gonna take me into my next pick. I'm gonna go with the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game, and that's Randy Moss.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Like,
And
I get what you're saying.
Yep.
I get what you're saying, but the game was changed because of Randy Moss.
Yeah.
The way that they I don't want to say the way that they groom defensive backs in the NFL now is because of players like Randy Moss. And yeah, Randy Moss. I think he's second on the list with 156 total touchdowns.
He's not actually.
Well, no, that was Marvin Harrison.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He is number 2.
Yeah.
Never
Okay.
mind.
So yeah, Randy Moss also played half-assed for most of his career when he played with Oakland, and then when he had to deal with. Now, I don't want to say deal with when he couldn't get along with Dante Culpepper, when he couldn't get along with Brad Johnson, and he just did whatever he wanted. He had a fuck it attitude from the get-go. He got kicked off of 2 college football teams.
Yeah.
He was supposed to play at Notre Dame. Got kicked off that team. Bobby Bowden, the greatest college football coach of all time, decided to take him on at Florida State. Got kicked off the team for smoking weed. And then he ended up at Marshall, and that's when he was drafted. The game was changed because of Randy Moss, and he is the greatest wide receiver of all time, in my opinion.
I would say his peak was better than anybody's peak. I would say like Moss to Jerry Rice is like comparing Jordan and LeBron, except in this situation, LeBron was more successful winning Super Bowls.
You're not wrong.
You know, Rice went to LA or Oakland at that point, I guess. And
So
he was like 41 years old. He's still kicking everybody's ass.
Randy Moss is my absolute
loved Randy Moss too.
favorite player of all time. I got a little treat for you guys next Saturday too. You
wearing a Moss jersey?
I ordered a special Randy Moss jersey with these Jordan 1s that I'm going to wear on Saturday, and I'm very excited. But Randy Moss, that 1998 NFC Championship, his rookie year when Gary Anderson went wide right. And then the only time I've ever rooted for the San Francisco 49ers in my life was the year that they played the Ravens in the Super Bowl, because I wanted Randy to get his Super Bowl ring.
His peak was better than anybody's peak. I mean, that's the bottom line. When he was at his best, I don't think anybody touches him. There's a couple that were really, really, really good at their peak, and I'll probably try to draft one of them with my next pick. But yeah.
That was a great segue into my draft pick, Brian. Thanks for doing that, because that's exactly where I was going in round 2. I didn't want to go round 1.
When I saw you take Peyton, I'm like, he's taking Moss with the second round. I already knew that. That's why I almost was gonna do Moss and Rice just to kind of screw you over, but let's all enjoy ourselves.
I have a very bizarre Randy Moss story from a couple of years ago. So the state cross country meets down in Peoria, and a lot of families kind of carpool to drive down there to watch the meet. So some parents of kids that I coach carpool with another family and some friends to watch all the teams compete. One of the schools was Glenbard West, so they had mutual friends and family. And this kid in the back seat, they were talking about the Bears, and the Bears were playing on Monday Night Football. And the kid in the back seat was like, "Yeah, my uncle is actually in town this weekend. He's going to the game." And they're like, "Oh, really? Where's he in town from?" "Oh, from wherever ESPN headquarters are, obviously." He's like, "Oh, yeah, he's in town. He's going to go to the game." And she was trying to keep a low profile. And they're like, she's like, "Yeah, he played in the NFL for a couple of years. I don't remember it. I was too young." "Oh, who's your uncle?" "Randy Moss." And they're like, "Wait, what? That's your uncle? That's your fucking uncle?" They're like, "He's a Hall of Famer." She's like, "Yeah, I heard he was pretty good, but he's my uncle. That's Uncle Randy."
Uncle Randy.
What?
Uncle Randy.
Do you guys remember the Nike commercial with Jason Williams and Randy Moss with the song from was it the Dukes of Hazzard, Good Old Boys? Because they were high school basketball teammates in DuPont, West Virginia.
Oh yeah,
That's my favorite Nike commercial besides the one with Michael and Scotty stretching together on the blacktop court. Man, Nike had some good commercials. Sorry.
No, yeah. Nike always had the best marketing for sure. Okay, Luke, what do you got? Round 2 here, bud.
Man, I'm so glad you guys did not pick any quarterbacks, because I'm going back to the quarterback position. And I'm going with, if it weren't for Tom Brady, this was the guy before Tom Brady that was the best of all time. That's Joe Montana, hands down. He won 4 Super Bowls. Just like when I was younger, that was some of the first interactions. Let's go.
Oh, we got the Luke internet again. Yes. Yes.
I'm back, right? I'm here.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, those 49ers teams dominating like they did were fucking incredible. It was like nobody did it better than Joe Montana until Tom Brady came along.
And he hated Rudy.
That's my favorite Joe Montana story, is him talking shit about Rudy.
Well, yeah, because Rudy was fucking offsides, and it's a fake story.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
That's another reason why I drafted Joe Montana, because Rudy sucks.
Rudy does suck. Notre Dame sucks, Luke.
Notre
Dame sucks.
Do you remember that story?
That movie.
Do you remember that story that came out last year about Joe Montana? Somebody broke into his house and tried to steal his grandkids.
What?
Look it up. Somebody,
Rudy.
I think his wife had to beat the shit out of somebody that broke into their house and was trying to take his grandkids out of the house.
I vaguely remember that, Brian.
Yeah. It was a big story for like 2 days and everybody forgot about it.
I think it was Rudy that tried to break into the house.
It was fucking Rudiger. Yep.
Because he's like, "You think I was offsides? I'll show you. I'm going to take your grandkids."
But it wasn't the actual Rudy. It was Sean Astin as Rudy trying to take his grandkids.
I saw a clip of Sean Astin talking to a fan at a Comic-Con. That guy's really kind of let himself go a little bit.
Hey, he you know what? He was in the
I love Sean Astin though.
Oh man.
Oh,
okay,
Spags, you already know how I feel about Notre Dame. I think Luke joins in that sentiment with me.
100% join in that sentiment.
This is my buddy Chris. What's up, Chris?
What up, Chris?
Ocho hasn't been drafted yet.
Maybe
I think you just made Luke's pick here, buddy.
No, I can't. Not yet.
You know what's funny? On Fanatics, they have the Mitchell and Ness jerseys that you can buy from NFL Hall of Famers and legends and shit like that.
Yeah.
And you go through the list and it's Randy Moss, there's a Joe Montana, there's a Deion Sanders, and the Bengals one is a Ocho Cinco 90s Bengals jersey, and I was laughing my ass off.
I wanted to buy an orange I've been wanting to buy an orange Bengals jersey for a couple of years, and every time I go to the shop, they never have my size, like Burrow or Chase or any of those. The only one they have is that fucking Ocho Cinco one that I'm not buying. But, all right, Luke, what's your turnaround pick here?
Okay, so the turnaround, you guys have both picked running backs and wide receivers already, so I got to go with the best available on the board for running back right now. I think would be Emmitt Smith. The guy was just dominant. He won those 3 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys back in the day. Just like one of the best to ever do it outside of the Walter Payton and Barry Sanders of the world. There's some more modern era guys, but he did what some of these more modern era names did, and he won 3 Super Bowl championships. That weighs a lot for me.
Yeah,
So,
he's also a Florida Gator, so fuck him.
yeah, but he
was great. He was the beneficiary of the best offensive line in the history of the sport. But
You're
but
not wrong.
definitely-
Arizona
and then also
Arizona
he had-
Cardinals legend Emmitt Smith.
Right. No, he was great. He was great. Yeah, that whole
yeah.
and he's a good guy. He seems like a good guy too.
I got no beef with Emmitt. I'm just like,
yeah, he's a Gator, so I understand why you would hate that guy.
Yeah.
All right, Svo, let's go.
I feel like I need to draft a quarterback here, so I'm going to go with another multiple Super Bowl winning quarterback with my next pick. Not only that, but he's become a pop culture legend. His broadcasts are the best way to watch Monday Night Football. I'm going to go with
Eli
Peyton
Manning, huh?
I'm going to go with Peyton Manning.
Not Eli?
I'm going to go Peyton.
I mean, Eli was more successful at the end of the day.
Wow.
Big Ben, let's go. Oh man, if Baloney's wife were in here, she'd love you, Sam. Yeah, Peyton Manning, I probably would have taken him.
Can you block Aloha, Mr. Hand? Can we just block him?
I mean, he's talking about the real school.
I could put him in timeout. You want me to put him in timeout?
Yeah, put him in timeout.
It's not Florida's not the real school in Florida. We all know that's Florida Gulf Coast. I mean,
hey, they don't even come on, man. My nephew Brian is a freshman at FGCU.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had him on your show, right?
Yeah. He sent me pictures from the Chris Sale Shrine when it was Parents Weekend last weekend.
That's really cool. I'm gonna go with my next pick. I was gonna take Peyton Manning, so I'm a little
Sorry, buddy.
No, it's okay.
I needed a quarterback, man.
No, I get it. I'm gonna go take care of my defense just to kind of fuck you guys over a little bit. I mean, I don't think I need to even really go into what I'm picking. It's the best. Yeah, I mean, it's best defense ever.
Yeah.
Buddy Ryan, 46 zone. You got to go 85 Bears.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go like 88 Eagles. You said Buddy Ryan.
Or I could go with the year he punched out the other guy on the sidelines. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, 85 Bears. That's when you think defense, you just go 85 Bears. Pete, come on, dude. Steel Curtain doesn't hold a candle to these guys.
I would go another team over the Steel Curtain defense too.
Steel Curtain.
But I would go a couple, but
yeah.
It's funny. I went back. I have the whole 85 season on DVD. And I went back and watched, and like you watch those games compared to today, it's fucking violent, man.
Yeah.
Like Gary. I'm surprised Gary Fensick can still talk. Like he hit so many people with the crown of his helmet. I don't know how he's able to like walk these days. But yeah, I mean, best defensive line ever, which made the linebacking crew, which was very good, legendary, which made the secondary legend. I mean, they put so much pressure on the quarterback that these guys never had time to do anything. So and then you got those two guys in the middle. You got Hampton, you got McMichael up front. You can't run the ball. And then
can we talk about this comment here, Brian, for a second? So Pete says Steel Curtain 4 titles, 85 Bears 1, 2000 Ravens 1. Who was the quarterback for that Pittsburgh team? Those Pittsburgh teams?
Terry Bradshaw,
one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Like I wouldn't put him like top 10, maybe top 15. Who was the quarterback for the 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens? Was it Kyle Bowler?
Trent Dilfer,
like Trent Dilfer,
Jim McMahon?
Yeah. I don't care. Like I'm going 85 Bears and I'm going 2000 Ravens over all those Pittsburgh teams because they had Terry fucking Bradshaw.
Yep. I totally agree. This is like similar to my baseball draft where I got stuck on on a position, like all the outfielders disappeared, so I had to piece together But I'm just gonna sit just like I did with that one because quarterback draft after these three is there's a severe drop. So I'm gonna go with my next running back. Might be a little surprising, but LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh, you bastard!
Yeah, I mean,
you bastard!
LT, baby. I love it.
He was phenomenal. He scored 145 touchdowns, which is almost as much as Emmitt Smith. He got pretty close to that. He played 11 years in the league, and Emmitt Smith played 15. So he would have gotten there if he had the longevity of Emmitt Smith. But yeah, I think he's very underrated.
I don't think you're wrong.
And yeah, I don't know what else to say. He was just solid. He was solid at everything. And he caught the ball. He was a good blocker. He did everything.
TCU legend, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah, that would have been another good running back pick. Well,
there's a lot of them though. There are the crop for this draft for running back is perfect. Yeah. So,
well, I have a quarterback, I have a running back, I have a wide receiver. Let's just get it off the board. Let's go to the 2000 Ravens defense. Okay. Let's get that off the board. Ray Lewis was an absolute monster.
Yeah, he murdered some of those guys.
He literally murdered some of those guys. Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Someone posts this picture every year when football season starts. It's the four dudes at the bar watching the game. One dude's in a Ray Lewis jersey. One dude's in an O.J. Simpson jersey. One dude's in a Ray Caruth jersey. And the one dude's in the Aaron Hernandez jersey. And I'm like, Jesus, man, we need to find a new group of friends.
That's frightening. Yeah. Just a great defense. Tony Siragusa was on that team, right?
Yeah. Whatever happened to him? Where's he at?
He died. Didn't he die?
He's not dead, is he?
He might be dead. Maybe that's why he's not on the Fox broadcast anymore, because he's dead. We got to find this out right now.
I mean, he's fat. He's not dead.
There's no way.
He's not dead.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Yeah, no. May 14th, 1967 to June 22nd, 2022.
Well, that would explain why he's not on the Fox broadcast anymore, because he's fucking dead.
Let's admit, though, he was entertaining, but he was terrible on those.
I mean, it was fun. It was funny seeing him in the end zone randomly. Like, what are you doing? Like I love the randomness of it.
I know what I'm talking about. He's fucking dead.
Who else was on that? Who else was on the Ravens defense? Ed Reed, right?
Yeah. I mean, as much as I hate Ed Reed, one of the best safeties to ever play the game.
Yeah. Suggs was on that team, right?
Suggs might have been a rookie that year. Right? He was drafted out at ASU?
Yeah.
As a rookie that year, I think.
I'm going to actually just get it up here.
Oh, good for you, Brian, at your age.
You're not slandering Ed Reed, the Miami
I just said, as much as I hate Ed Reed, those were literally my first words. As much as I hate Ed Reed.
Rod Woodson. Ed Reed was not on that team.
Okay.
And then they had Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa up front. So that was like their that's what allowed Ray Lewis to do whatever the fuck he wanted. Peter Boulware was on that team. He was great.
Boulware?
Jamie Sharper was really good.
You mean Florida State legend, Peter Boulware?
Yes, Florida State legend. Yes.
I said Joe Montana.
John Stamos played safety.
Tom Zibikowski, Buffalo Grove legend.
Buffalo Grove meatball.
Yeah, like Notre Dame legend.
I've got some Zibby stories.
Notre Dame legend.
Yeah, I've got some Zibby stories that we don't need to share, but I can share them maybe when I see you guys on Saturday.
Yes.
Remind me, and I'll tell you. He's the biggest meathead ever.
Most football players are. I mean, you run into those
He wasn't just a football player. He was like a Golden Gloves boxer too, man.
Yes. Yeah. And he's best friends with Jeff Samardzija.
Oh, dude, I think I told
the
our
shark?
group.
The shark.
I told our group, I sold a phone to his aunt last week. Like she had a Northwest Indiana ID, and her last name was the same. And I'm like, "You're related to Jeff, right?" She's like, "Yeah, he's my nephew." Like, so how is he? He's like, "Well, besides his disappointing baseball career, he's fine." I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
He made millions of dollars.
Made millions of dollars. Maybe
He was an NFL caliber wide receiver too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe he should have gone to the NFL instead of deciding to be a pitcher. Maybe she was disappointed.
He's white, so I don't know if he would be able to get separation. He's not quick enough.
That's not true at all. Bill Belichick.
I'm totally messing with
Bill
you.
Belichick.
Anybody watching? I'm not making racist jokes.
Bill Belichick would have signed him for a heartbeat. He would have been Tom Brady's favorite receiver.
Wes Welker part 2, but 6'5" or whatever he was.
Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. Come on, man! Like
there will be no Tariq Cohen slander.
No, it's not slander. It's a compliment. He's drafting him at quarterback. It's a great quarterback pick.
He's making fun of Tariq Cohen. All right, Luke, let's get your 2 here.
Okay. I got to go wide receiver for a pick because you guys have both taken wide receivers. I have not. I'm going to go with Starvin Marvin, another guy that potentially could have murdered some defenses.
He may have.
He may have. And his son is at the
may
worst
be a
school
serial
in the
killer
country.
in Philadelphia.
But Marvin Harrison, the guy was like must watch on NFL Sundays. Like if you were in fantasy football, you're like, I got to draft Marvin Harrison with the first wide receiver pick. Like he was the man during that era.
Is
also,
Manning to Harrison?
I want his son to be on the Bears next year.
Yeah, I want his son to not be on Ohio State. I want him to be in the NFL so I could actually like the guy.
Yeah,
because he's on Ohio State. So I don't like him currently because of that.
I'm going to allow that because you've allowed all my Florida Gators and Miami Hurricanes slander.
Is Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison the best?
Oh my God! Like
the best
everything
in the history of the game.
Best in the history of the game. Not only the history of the game, in the history of I haven't played any video games in years, but in the history of Madden, NFL Madden, Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison. Like, come on, what was better than that?
There was a couple years where it was straight up Dante Culpepper to Randy Moss, like in Madden. I'm not saying in the NFL.
Yeah,
I'm saying in Madden.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
my favorite one was Vic to
Vic when he just ran the ball himself.
No, who was that? There was a wide receiver in Atlanta.
Andre Rison?
No, I can't remember. But I would just run fly and just because Vic's arm was so nuts on one of the one that he was the cover on
2004.
They boosted his ass so much that I think his arm was 99, and somebody was able to just run by everybody and just keep throwing them up.
Yeah.
All
right, Luke, what do you got?
Okay, so I just took Starvin Marvin. No tight ends have been taken yet, so I'm gonna go with Tom Brady's best friend, Gronk.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't agree, but I can't say too much bad about the pick. I mean,
I was not expecting Rob Gronkowski to be the first tight end off this board.
I agree.
Who's won more Super Bowls?
I mean, I get it, but
who scored more touchdowns in the Super Bowl?
And then we'll go right to my next pick, and I'll go Tony Gonzalez.
That's a great pick. I like Gronk better. That's
wow.
Well, should I just keep it going and take a tight end too?
If you're going to go Antonio Gates, yes, absolutely.
You know what?
This is like in your fantasy football draft when all the kickers come off the board.
Screw you guys.
That's
That's a modern pick,
bro. That guy
doing that.
I think that we're seeing two tight ends that are going to end up being the two best ever. This guy and Kittle. If Kittle stays healthy, that guy's fucking filthy.
I don't think you're wrong at all.
And I don't mean to disrespect Gates. I loved Antonio Gates. I thought that guy was it was such a remarkable story to even play football in college, and then he became, top, arguably the best tight end ever. But You can't argue with any of our 3 picks. Other tight ends to think about: Mike Ditka.
Yep.
He
was on my
created the catching tight end.
He
Period.
absolutely did. Yeah.
Um,
He also created drunken racism. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes,
That
he
existed
did.
way
He
longer
did.
before him.
hey, according to Mike Ditka, Obama never would have happened if he'd have run for Senate.
It's true.
So, Jim Plunkett. I'm going to stop real quick, and I have a question for you guys. What is your favorite food to eat during the Super Bowl? And people in the chat, please comment as well.
Luke, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go?
You go ahead. I'll go last.
So I could say wings or pizza or whatever, but my wife makes jalapeno popper dip every Super Bowl, and it is my favorite thing to eat during the Super Bowl. This year I'm gonna have to eat it with some like sliced green peppers instead of a million chips. But
that sounds amazing too.
This jalapeno popper dip that my wife makes is my favorite thing to eat on Super Bowl Sunday. That and a Coke Zero, that's the jam right there.
Well, can't go wrong with that. Yeah, dips in general are always the best for Super Bowl. We make chili dip usually, which is just like chili and cream cheese and like a green onion.
Say less, yeah.
Yeah.
Bran flakes and prune juice. Is that to clean you out for Saturday night?
I'll put that dip in my shoes.
I put that shit on everything.
All right, what do you got, Luke?
I do typically like to do a lot of air fryer snacks in my very nice and clean air fryer. But if I'm not using the air fryer, I'm going with the Jewel honey chicken wings.
Ooh, elite pick. Elite pick.
So,
Yep.
What? Like you think wings? Like, oh, I got to get wings for the Super Bowl. What am I going to get? I'm going to get the Jewel brand wings. I mean, come on, like that's a staple during football season. They jack up the price during football season. I don't care. I'll pay $75 for a bucket of Jewel honey wings. I don't care. Like it's that good. Like, fine.
It's like crack.
Yes, it's so good. Oh, that's right. There is a Jewel honey wings. There is.
Is there really?
There is.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Well, there was. I don't know if there is anymore, but there was at one point.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave quarterback sitting again.
Oh wow.
I've got like three wide receivers I'm like arguing with myself over, but I'm gonna go with this one. I feel like another guy kind of like Moss. I mean, he had a great body of work, but he also at his peak was pretty unstoppable. I'm gonna go Terrell Owens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People make fun of him for being eccentric and weird and crazy and kind of an asshole, but at the end of the day, he was at his peak, arguably top 2-3. So
it's a good pick.
Yeah, he went up and got it whenever he needed it. Remember that game against the Bears where he had like 21 catches?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even he made Jeff Garcia look relevant,
Fuck Jeff Garcia.
Fuck Jeff Garcia.
This comment coming from the guy that said the Pittsburgh Steelers defense was better than the Ravens or the Bears. So,
damn Pete.
Fucking Pete.
Bernard Berrien would have been a great pick. I agree with Sam Reeves here.
I
He was
guess
disappointing. We all thought Bernard Berrien was going to be like the guy, and
yeah,
he absolutely wasn't. That would be a good draft. Most disappointing Chicago Bears of all time. We could talk for hours about.
It'd be a 7-hour draft.
Yeah,
man.
Curtis Enos and from Enos to McNown, we'll call it.
All right, I'm up. I'm gonna go wide receiver here, and I'm gonna also go with a guy that suffered from the same affliction that one of the top 4 picks suffered from. He played for the Detroit Lions. I'm going to go with Calvin Johnson.
Megatron.
He was next up on my wide receiver board.
He was the other one that I was thinking about. So, one of the other 2 I was thinking about. If he'd have played another 5 or 6 years and actually, got hooked up with a better system and quarterback, he would have been the first one off the board.
Yeah.
No. It's you give him credit though. Like he stepped away when he won. He's like just like Barry Sanders. He stepped away when he wanted to step away. He in modern football, I feel like him and Barry Sanders would have held out and said, "Fucking trade me," or I'm retiring. Maybe even sooner than they did.
It just didn't work like that when he stepped away.
Right. The game was different, and agents were different, and owners were different, and All right, Luke, what you got, brah?
Okay, so let's see. I got running back, I got WR2 and defense. All right, I'm doing it because I know I'm gonna win some votes with this draft by drafting this pick here. It's the next best defense on the board, maybe the best defense on the board according to some. I'm going with that steel curtain defense, the 76 Steelers. Like, come on, like that was. I'm not drafting any Bears, so I got to draft my AFC team with the steel curtain. So I mean, that
you let Pete answer for you.
Yep. There you go. That's
what you should have taken though.
There. We'll go back to that defenses in the dump list at the end there. I mean.
I think the problem is that you're in your late 30s, Phone and I are in our early 40s, and we didn't get to see that defense. You know what I mean? Like we didn't.
I know.
All I know is Lambert was a freaking lunatic, and that's all I know.
Yeah, that was a badass defense. So like just looking at the numbers and the 4 Super Bowl rings, so.
This is the comment of the day.
when really it was like to pursue forensics with the FBI. That's why Robert Smith left.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah.
He found the cure.
Me and Joe Green was on that team.
I get the 76 Steelers pick, but I think like you got to like really be in the reruns of Murder, She Wrote to like remember that 76 Steelers team.
Well, okay, that's true. But what Pete makes a good point here when he says Mean Joe Green, like a defensive player was in all the commercials in the NFL in that era. A defensive player.
He was larger than life. He was such
like
a huge.
You don't see a stud on defense being the face of a franchise anymore. It's the quarterback.
Well, I mean, but Urlacher sells hair products.
He does.
He also storms the Capitol.
But did he?
Yeah, he also does.
He was definitely there. He was 100% there with Steve-O.
And Jay Cutler.
They all took a Uber there together. And
yup, you're not wrong. Chicago does talk about 85 Bears and it was 38 years ago.
Because all we got to talk about.
But what have we learned about Chicago fans? That they're all fucking idiots, right? We live on White Sox Twitter every day.
Yeah, except Bears Twitter is even more so because it's so much bigger.
Yeah,
there's so many more morons. I think Chicago. Honestly, like I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I think Chicago Bears fans are the dumbest people on the planet.
they're pretty.
If you listen to the score for one day,
the score callers are like absurd.
Yeah,
just absolutely absurd.
Like the Bears fans that don't have any like self-realization are the dumbest fucking people.
So this comment from Mailman Jack, recurring character in Coke commercials, Brian, wink wink. So Mailman Jack came to me with an idea this week to do a draft of recurring television characters that were on advertisements. So like Flo from Progressive and like the Gecko and Eagle Man, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's probably going to happen at some point.
That's a good draft.
Yeah, you could put Mean Joe Green in there.
He did buy the world of Coke.
Sam just fucking hit it on the head. He's like, trade Justin Fields or move him to running back and get someone that can throw the football. That's the type of bear shit that like.
And he fucked up the name too. He fucked up the name, which is like a total like Chicago sports radio caller thing. Is like, oh yeah, Jeremy Fields need to go.
Mitch Trubisky was the worst quarterback.
We should have gone with that Peter Tom Willis guy.
That guy, nobody. I mean, is that who you're waiting to draft, Brian? Is Peter Tom Willis?
Obviously.
Hey, that's a Florida State legend. Don't talk shit, bro.
Is that something you're proud of?
No, I mean he was good at Florida State, but like a lot of people are good in college. You know what I mean?
Well, and I don't know if anybody really remembers that, but P.T. Willis used to kick everybody's ass in the exhibition games, and everybody would start screaming for him. They did that with Henry Burris too. And
oh, Caitlin, we weren't making fun of Sam. We said Sam made a good point. Like Sam makes a good point about Bears fans.
Right? Yeah, we weren't making fun of Sam. We were.
I mean, we make fun of Sam
we were
for other
commending him.
reasons,
right?
Not that.
All right, Luke, you got another one here, pal.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got the turnaround. So I'm saving my running back pick for later. So I got to go receiver, and another guy that was legendary. That you know what? No, I'm not going to go with him. I'm not going to do the pick I wanted to do. I'm calling an audible. I'm going with Larry Fitzgerald.
Ooh,
But it also qualifies under the same category. Give me Larry Fitzgerald. One of the best to ever do it. I was looking towards Megatron, but Svo took that one ahead of me there. The next guy up would have been Larry Fitzgerald, though. I'll save the other one for when we talk at the end of the draft. Who I was thinking about.
I mean, we'll definitely spend quite a bit of time going over who didn't get picked too.
Yeah.
So.
It was between this guy and Fitz, but Fitz is more modern. People seeing what he's done with the game. And God damn, why did he have to play for the Arizona Cardinals for all those years? Again,
and it's the longevity with him too. I mean, he did it for. I don't know how these wide receivers with the damage they get to their bodies getting hit. I don't know how some of these guys can manage to play for, how many years did Fitzgerald played for? 17 years.
17
yeah.
years.
And he was good. And he was good for like 16.
Yeah.
He's in the top. He's like in the top 3 or top 5 all time in every single wide receiver category.
He's number 1 in yards. He's number 2 in receptions. He's number, I think, 5 in touchdowns. 5. Yeah, he's 5th in touchdowns.
That Super Bowl against the Steelers is still just like to think about how he didn't get a ring because of like that last second throw from.
That was an awesome Super Bowl.
It was a fantastic Super Bowl, but man, was I rooting for the Cardinals.
I was not rooting.
She was making fun of her husband.
You were rooting for the Steelers and Big Ben over the Cardinals?
That's my AFC team.
What's wrong with you?
I like the Steelers. They're
Go Diamondbacks.
And see, that's my National League team. Yeah, there's some family connections to both of those. So that's, I mean,
I was crushed when the Cardinals lost that. I wanted Fitz to get his ring. I wanted Anquan Bolden to get his ring.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, Bolden was great. Bolden was absolutely great.
You got Santonio Holmes winning the Super Bowl and then showing hog to the world. I mean, that was a win.
Bolden didn't play wide receiver till his sophomore year at college.
What was he before that?
He was a quarterback at Florida State.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a Florida State guy. Yeah.
I did not know that. All right, Mr. Svo.
All right, I need another quarterback, so I'm going to go with a guy that I loved watching play. I actually met him as a teenager in West Lafayette, Indiana. I'm going to go with Drew Brees.
Oh, Brew Drees.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Drew Brees. Drew Brees is I always loved watching Brees play, and who knows if Dante Culpepper doesn't sign with if he signs with Miami like he was supposed to. Drew Brees might not have ever played in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That was a whole thing, like a signing day thing. He hurt his shoulder, and they didn't know if he would ever be the same. And he was supposed to go to Miami, and he decided to go to New Orleans instead, and it changed his career. He became one of the GOATs.
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, those Saints teams where he just dominated. That's such a great pick.
Yeah, you definitely can't argue. He's second all time in yards, second in touchdowns. I'm going by. You know, has the highest. You know, has the highest quarterback rating of all time. I'm not going to pick him here, but
Dan Marino.
no, Aaron fucking Rodgers.
Wow.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something that everybody in the chat can agree on. Is can I get an F in the chat for fuck Aaron Rodgers?
Let's do it. I'm gonna go. I gotta get my quarterbacks here. You guys have left me with nothing, which is fine. First one, I'm gonna go Dan Marino.
Yeah.
I was gonna be. I debated.
He helped save Snowflake. He
did.
He did really awesome commercial for isotoner gloves, which kept my hands warm. So
Kick your friend Chris. Kick your friend Chris out of the chat. Can you mute him? Or can you put him in timeout?
What was he? I don't understand what that is.
We said put that F in the chat for Aaron Rodgers. He
The
said,
owner
the
of the
Bears. Put him in timeout.
He lives in Texas. Don't feel bad. The only guy to beat the 85 Bears, Dan Marino.
The Bears.
Sorry, Don Shula beat him, but you know
the Bears were like licking their chops that they got to play the Dolphins in the Super Bowl. They were like salivating that it would have been a rematch, and the fucking Patriots beat them.
That was I watched a show on NFL Network not that long ago. They said the biggest upsets in history of football. Obviously the Giants beating the Patriots in that Super Bowl was number one on that list. But that Patriots team getting to the Super Bowl period was towards the top of the list. And my second one, man.
Just take Mitch Trubisky. It's an easy answer.
Well, see, I feel like I should take this guy because him and my tight end work well together. He just won his second MVP. Maybe going to win a Super Bowl today. I'm going to go Patrick Mahomes. He is the cheat code, basically. I mean, I know they used to say Vic like broke the game. This guy is like, if you took Steph Curry and you made him a football player, that's what he is. Like he makes plays that you think like, what the fuck is he doing? He's a crazy person, and he makes it work, and he wins.
He was on my list.
I didn't have him on my list. I was going to pick Steve Young now. Because I think at his peak, I don't think anybody was better than Steve Young for a year or two there. But yeah, I think he's earned that spot at this point. So
yeah, and his dad was a very below league average Major League Baseball player,
pitcher.
Yeah.
There's been stories. There's been
His
stories
brother
that
is a TikTok star.
Yeah.
And an asshole.
And an absolute asshole.
From what I understand, he has aspirations to maybe play baseball for a year or two towards the tail end of his career.
Good luck.
Yeah. I don't know. He would have been drafted. He would have been drafted as a pitcher.
So he's trying to go the Michael Jordan route, which we all know how that went with the baseball career for MJ. So
somebody's got to kill his dad first.
Oh.
Ooh. Wait, does Patrick Mahomes like to gamble?
Maybe he does, just not on the NFL or Major League Baseball because he's a co-owner of the Royals. So he really likes gambling on hockey.
Yeah, he's like a huge Blues fan, right?
Huge St. Louis Blues
fan.
Yep, definitely.
Oh, Svo's still trying to
I was like, man, I've said some fucked up shit before, but good Lord. To talk about the goats, Dad.
So are you telling me I shouldn't clip this out and put it on shorts today?
Yeah, that's definitely should not be a short.
I went overboard, and I apologize.
I don't think you went overboard. I think you said something.
You made a joke about a man that was murdered.
That wasn't overboard. That's not.
Hey, we were talking about Ray Lewis for a while there.
It was
Hey,
it was a reference to
No, we made fun of Ray Lewis, the murderer, not the
Yeah,
man
hey.
that he murdered.
Yeah,
this
hey,
is
Brick,
also dealing with
Brick
murder.
killed a guy, you know?
It's an NFL draft. Things happen with NFL players.
Things
They
get
just-
crazy, man. You want to get nuts?
I mean,
You
nobody
ever dance with the
drafted,
devil in the pale moonlight?
Oh man.
I mean, none of us drafted Aaron Hernandez at tight end. I mean, murders happen in the NFL. Things just kind of happen. You know, it's
Yeah, I mean, none of us took Adrian Peterson. I mean,
well, not yet. I mean,
I was trying to do a segue there, Svo. Come on.
Nope. If I'm gonna, with my last pick, I'm gonna pick the greatest two-sport athlete to ever play the game, and I'm gonna go Bo Jackson at running back.
I think you can go Brian Jordan. Yeah. Yeah,
I thought if you're going to go with the greatest two-sport athlete to play the game, like Tom Brady was a catcher for the Expos.
Montreal Expos.
I mean, oh wait, I already took him.
You already took him.
John Elway got drafted by the Yankees.
Well, I mean, if we were gonna do that, then I could, Jameis Winston got drafted too. Like, let's go.
It's true. Yeah, James Winston,
Kyler Murray,
Kyle Long.
Murray, yeah.
Kyle Long got drafted by the White Sox.
Yeah, he was a pitcher. Could you imagine that big fucker standing on the mound while you're
staring you down?
Bro, no thanks, man. No thanks.
Bro,
Imagine
have any of you guys
charging
heard,
that guy.
like this week, the Super Bowl stories from the Greenlight Pod with Kyle Long about Matt Nagy?
I've heard. I have not listened to it. I've heard that it's very.
Matt Nagy was a fucking tool.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad. If you get a chance, listen to that pod with Chris Long and Kyle Long about his experiences with Matt Nagy, how he wanted to quit at halftime, and they had to bring him back because of Matt Nagy's ineptitude.
Yeah.
All right, Luke, are you closing it out?
I'm closing it out. I'm either going to win the draft or lose the draft with this pick.
O.J. Simpson. You're going O.J. Simpson.
We're talking about murderers a lot in this draft. It's kind of crazy how that all comes full circle. This guy shares the same birthday as me. We're birthday twins. We're not murder twins. We're just birthday twins. There's a difference. I'm going with OJ. OJ, the football player. I'm going with.
Can you put Orenthal, the bus driving murderer? Okay, gotcha.
He was a fucking bat. He was the face of the NFL. He was the face of the NFL through his years in his career. Yours truly. Hey, Twitter world, it's yours truly. He was so fucking good in football.
I gotta. You know what? All the weight on my back for the James Jordan murder.
It's
comment,
gone. It's gone. You're off the hook, Brian. You're off the hook.
Yeah, the demons have been lifted.
I'm either going to win or lose a draft based off of that pick alone. I mean,
from if you talk to anybody older than us, you talk to our dads asking about running backs, they will mention O.J. Simpson immediately. So you are correct. You are correct. He was, if you're just looking at the body of work, playing football, and not murdering or holding people hostage for memorabilia. Yeah.
And he was a great actor. I mean, Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Naked Gun.
He was actually initially cast as the Terminator. No joke. No joke. And they thought that he was too human. They thought that the big creepy German was gonna be better.
They thought that the murdering absentee father of Khloe Kardashian was too human.
Khloe Kardashian. Oh boy. Yeah, I got nothing else on OJ.
Wow.
I had to end the draft with that pick. That's the way to end the draft. I had others on my list.
So I actually think I have he's got Tom Brady and Joe Montana, so I don't know if I have a shot at winning this draft. But I know that Svo is going to get some shit about Bo Jackson from MSS. And then Luke picked a fucking murderer. I didn't think we were going to talk.
Which one, OJ or Marvin?
Right.
So, I didn't think we were going to talk about OJ Simpson on It's Getting Drafty in here until I have my wife on to do a draft of serial killers. But here we are.
Oh, hey, pick head coaches now.
We were going to discuss that. Yeah. Real quick, before we do like a roundup and kind of go over who wasn't picked, because that usually takes up almost as much time as the draft itself. Let's talk. Yeah, who's your coach? Is Belichick the 1-1 no matter what?
I mean, yeah, obviously that he's the 1-1 for coaches.
Yeah.
No
Chuck Noll.
No Chuck Noll.
No Walsh.
Yeah, Walsh.
I hate to say it, but Jimmy Johnson.
Wayne Fonts. We could pick Wayne Fonts.
Fred Flintstone himself.
I mean, you can't sleep on my Eastern Illinois guy, Mike Shanahan, or Sean Payton for that matter, but Mike Shanahan.
Hey, Holmgren might be winning his second one today. He's had an ass load of success. He took another team to the Super Bowl. He took, Tom Landry. I would say
Landry, the dude that they named the middle school after.
What about
George Hallis?
George Hallis, yeah.
I mean,
what about Tom Coughlin?
Yeah, I was going to say Andy Reid is not Mike Holmgren. Not all fat white guys look alike, Brian.
Why did I say Mike Holmgren?
Did you mean Tom Turner?
I meant Andy Reid. You guys must have been so fucking confused there.
I didn't want to say it. You're the host.
Oh my god! He did say that.
That was a senior moment.
I didn't even think of that. I was wondering the Mike Holmgren thing. Like, oh, he must work in their front office.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, whatever.
Classic.
We're not going to talk about Lombardi though, right?
Whatever. He's a Packer guy.
Lombardi, the certain magic still lingers in the very name.
You mentioned Tom, Turn Your Head, and Coughlin. That guy.
Yeah, he won a couple. He also took Jacksonville very, very deep in the playoffs when they probably didn't deserve to at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go. Any quarterbacks that you feel we should talk about that weren't drafted? I already mentioned Steve Young. Steve Young had too many years on the bench, too many years in the USFL.
There's a couple, I think, like John Elway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know he won 3 Super Bowls. I know it was because of his supporting cast, but he's also the greatest, like one of the greatest announcers in the game right now, Troy Aikman.
Yep.
Do you think he remembers he's a football player, though?
No, there's no way. Eli Manning.
Drew Bledsoe.
I did not put Eli on my list. I just whatever.
No.
There will be
no Drew Bledsoe slander in here, Brian. I will not allow it.
Well, and you know what's funny is you see, like I'm looking at the list right now. Here, let me share that. I don't know if you can see it all the way, but this is sorted by yards. And it's really funny to see guys like Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, Kirk Cousins in the top 30 yards of all time. Like it's so funny. It just shows you how different this era is. I mean, seasons are longer now, but yeah, I mean, I didn't know Eli Manning was top 10 in yards all time. I mean, that may be like maybe he did deserve to get picked.
Yeah, that's fake. That's not real.
I mean, you got Roethlisberger won a couple bowls. Phillip Rivers has 17 kids. Brett Favre is stealing money from poor people. I'm going to get sued for that now.
But you know what, though? We all drafted murderers, so who are we to judge stealing money and all these
I didn't take any murderers.
I mean, I took 2.
Yeah, who else took murderers but you?
Am I the only one that drafted murderers?
Yeah.
Well, you took the Ravens.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess.
I thought there was another guy on the draft board, but I mean, they were really good football players.
So, who is your favorite NFL quarterback of all time? If we're not, I mean, let's look at let's remove these 6 from the equation. Who's your favorite
Besides the 6 we picked?
Yeah,
I mean, I could go. I can tell you like it's easily. You just made a joke, but it's Drew Bledsoe. Like Drew Bledsoe was the #1 overall pick in the 1991 draft from
He was
Washington
great.
State, and
Yeah.
if he like Tom Brady probably never happens if Mo Lewis doesn't just absolutely murder Drew Bledsoe on the sidelines in that Patriots Jets game.
Yeah, and he was a probably a top 5 quarterback at that point. Maybe even top 3 in
And
the
he had
league.
a fucking cannon
And
for an arm.
just the fact that's how good Tom Brady was, though,
Yeah.
that like he never got his job back. Yeah, I think that after that hit, his career kind of just went downhill.
He still had some decent years in like Buffalo and Dallas, but never what he did in New England.
Yeah, he was good in Buffalo. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I'm not saying I'm just saying he's my favorite. Yeah.
That was about when I was getting into fantasy football, and Bledsoe was way up there for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, now running backs. I want to mention Gale Sayers. Obviously, I know we didn't really.
Yep.
None of us really got to see him, but Gale Sayers definitely gets some props. I'll go ahead and share this screen again here.
Marshall Faulk,
That's the running back one.
Warwick Dunn are the two that like are two
Faulk
running
was
backs that I
incredible.
absolutely love.
The running back field was probably the most difficult to draft because there's a big drop off, but those guys there's so much good in that field there.
Yeah.
When I took Tomlinson, I was also thinking about Eric Dickerson because that dude was scary.
Yeah.
Eric Dickerson was a badass.
So big. He was so big.
Jamal Lewis was great.
Yep.
Like Tennessee legend. Fred Taylor was also really fun.
Thurman Thomas was great.
Thurman Thomas, yep.
Edgerrin James had a good career. He just he had so many carries though.
Fuck him.
Obviously Jerome Bettis. I wouldn't pick Jerome Bettis because he didn't do anything but run the ball.
Right. But he was fun to watch run the ball.
Absolutely. Yeah. You'd love to watch a guy run it. That's why everybody loved Mike Altstadt when he played, because he just run people over, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me scroll down a little bit. Wow, Matt Forte is 33rd all time in yards. That's
Sean
crazy.
Alexander was another running back that was fun to watch.
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch.
Lynch was very good.
Did we mention Adrian Peterson? See,
we talked for a second.
Yeah, you took the murderers. I'm surprised you didn't take the child abuser, Luke.
I mean, it was either a murderer or a child abuser. I'm going to take the murderer with O.J. Simpson.
I'm going to go ahead and go outside and cut a switch and draft Adrian Peterson.
Wow.
Tiki Barber was good. Earl Campbell. That was one of my earliest memories of football was Earl Campbell. Beast. Just a fucking beast. Didn't get to play very long because he was so goddamn big. Yeah. I mean, Jim Brown, obviously.
Jim Brown, earlier era.
Yeah. Curtis Martin, man. Curtis Martin, that's a pick right there, too.
Curtis Martin played forever, too.
Yeah.
Just like Frank Gore, just played forever.
There's some badasses, even more recent, that kind of fizzled out, but was fucking dominant for a while. Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
God, there's so many that they have a good 2, 3, 4 year run.
Even Ricky Williams, I know he was kind of a disappointment, but he had a couple of years, especially in Miami, where he really kind of took off.
Well, and look, this is how crazy that running back field is, because you need to be able to do it for such a long time in your career, and some only have a good 3 to 4 year stretch.
Right.
Arian Foster was a badass for 2 to 3 years.
I had him on a fantasy team or two. Yep.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara is kind of the modern guy that now is starting to fall off, but they're both former Tennessee running backs, if I remember correct. I think Kamara was Tennessee.
Yeah, he absolutely was.
Yeah, like that. And then they kind of fade out, but Kamara is still.
That's why running backs now will never have the yardage that these guys did, because they take such a beating, and running backs are a dime a dozen. Running backs
game. Yeah,
they don't get paid like they used to. Like, you don't take a running back in the first round unless they're like an absolute stud.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, every mock draft I've seen this year only has like 1 or 2 running backs. It's like
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson, and then
And even like the Bijan Robinson pick is late in the first
Yeah.
round.
and that's a guy that they're high on. Like
Yeah.
they're going to say he's the next big thing at running back, but that's like people compare him to Saquon. That's another guy, Saquon. Like,
Saquon.
I
Saquon's
mean,
good, yeah.
it's so hard to put together a 10-year career as a running back and be the best running back in the league nowadays. Like that's why some of those names up top.
Well,
Like
that's why Christian McCaffrey having like resurgence in San Francisco this
another
year was,
one. Yeah.
Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry plays another eight years the way he's running, he's going to be way up top of this list.
Derrick Henry's up there.
If Derrick Henry can walk in 8 years,
Yeah.
I'll be
Right.
surprised.
Right.
Any Alabama running back to go to
Yeah.
the NFL is going to have success. That's what I've learned.
Mhm.
God, there's so many.
Ernest Biner. Wow, some names that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
We had a great running back a few years back, Thomas Jones. Thomas Jones was
Dude,
really
went
good.
went to the Super Bowl.
Thomas Jones
Yeah.
also was in Straight Outta Compton. He's an actor now, and he was in Straight Outta Compton.
Straight out Compton, motherfucker named Thomas Jones.
Yep.
Right on. All right, wide receivers. I think this is gonna be the longer discussion. There's a lot of them here. There's tight ends in here too, but this is reception based on.
So I'm not
yard
even,
by
I
yard.
don't want to look at the list. The two that stick out are they have both played on the same team, but Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt.
Yeah, those are good.
I had a fantasy football league that I was in for like 20 years was a keeper league, and you get to keep 3 players every year. Dude had Warner, Holt, and Marshall Falk, and nobody could beat him for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Like it was impossible.
The other receiver that made Randy Moss possible was Chris Carter. Like Chris Carter on the opposite side of Randy Moss. That 98 Vikings offense was almost unstoppable.
He was also very good at finding scapegoats
And cocaine. Yeah.
Cocaine.
Yeah. That's why
What
Buddy Ryan.
when he talked to the rookies, what did he say? Find yourself a fall guy?
Yeah. That's why Buddy Ryan traded him from Philadelphia. Was the cocaine issue.
He was great though.
How did you play fantasy football back then? On a typewriter?
Pretty much.
Oh,
That's how
CBS
fantasy
Sportsline
was.
has been doing fantasy football a lot longer than you think.
There was no internet when he started fantasy football.
Hey,
I was actually in a rotisserie baseball league where a guy literally was like looking at the newspaper every day to do the numbers.
Have we not mentioned Steve Largent?
No.
No.
Man.
But Steve Largent does bring me to a point that I would like to make. The Seahawks need to bring back those fucking uniforms.
Yeah.
Like those jerseys and that helmet is the next move that the Seahawks need
The
to make.
blue?
Yeah, the blue with that silver helmet and get rid of what they have now.
Yep. Yeah, no, I don't. I think they wanted to look. It's like a Seattle thing. They want to like stick out, you know.
No, what it was is, and Luke, please don't take offense to this. It was Nike and Seattle trying to copy the things that they do in Oregon. And
No,
they
they were copycatting. They were
it's not
envious.
successful. Yeah.
They're envious because Seattle and Washington, they're envious of what Oregon has, being the neighbors to the south. Oregon is just better than everything Washington. Everything. People in Oregon might enjoy the Seattle Seahawks, but they do not enjoy the Washington Huskies. There are a bunch of copycats up there in the state of Washington, and they're trying to copy the greatest with Phil Knight. Sorry, you guys failed, like you do in a lot of things.
I like it. What else? Who else did we miss on this list? Like
Steve Smith,
Michael Irvin,
Andre Johnson. Yeah,
And
Michael Irvin for sure.
Andre Johnson. We talked about Anquan Bolden a little bit earlier.
So if you look at this list, James Lofton, number 12 on the list, look at his average catch number. It's like 3+. It's like 3+ yards higher than like everybody.
Is that Kenny Lofton's like dad?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
the guy that just retired this year, Julio Jones.
Yep.
Also, can you imagine if Julio Jones' foot holds up, how much higher on that list he is?
Oh my God, he was. Yeah, that was another guy you would always take at the top of any fantasy
Yeah.
draft.
AJ Green was a guy that, like, if his body wasn't have been so beat up, his numbers would have been higher on that list.
Ocho Cinco,
Yep.
Antonio Brown, not a murderer, just a crazy person, but not a
Yeah.
murderer.
21 and 22, Irving Fryer and Art Monk. Those two were ahead of their time for
Also,
sure.
we can agree that Antonio Brown absolutely had sex with Giselle, right? Like,
Probably.
he totally nailed
You know what?
Giselle.
I'm gonna guess it was probably in front of Tom Brady as well. So
It might, you know what? It might have been like an eyes wide shut thing where Tom Brady set it all up.
they both secretly call her finger cuffs.
Yeah. Antonio Brown walked into the
I
locker
can't
room.
believe I made that joke. I'm sorry.
Antonio Brown walked into the locker room and he looks at Tom Brady and he goes, Fidelio. And that was the cue.
Everybody has their mask on.
No, it's the helmets. The helmets are the
Helmets.
mask.
There's like that weird music in the background. Oh. I remember watching that movie the first time. I'm going, what the fuck am I watching?
What did I just watch?
Kubrick's crazy. There's no Don Beebe on here. What the hell?
Oh, your guy, your local guy that you love so much.
His daughter bought a house from my mother-in-law in Elburn.
If I remember correctly, he's a head football coach at Aurora University now.
Is he? I know he talks. I know he talks at a lot of churches.
He does something.
I don't
He
trust
actually used to be.
I don't trust anybody that talks at churches. I'm out.
He actually used to be a customer of mine when my company did lawn care, and he wasn't very nice on the phone, but his wife was like super nice. Don Beebe, sorry.
Good old Don.
This draft has had it all. It's had a Don Beebe story. It's had murderers taken. This has been a chock full of firsts.
Any tight ends we're neglecting to talk about? Shannon Sharp,
yes.
Witten.
Yeah.
I did not know Greg Olson was what 7th on the list all time in yards.
Yeah,
wow.
No, but he's not draftable in this draft. I would have taken Jimmy Graham ahead of him.
Hey, Luke, why wasn't Greg Olson draftable in this draft?
Because there's 3 tight ends better than him.
Okay.
I
would have just said because he went to Miami, but okay.
I only owned one NFL football jersey that wasn't Bears, and it was this guy right here.
Oh, another, yeah.
Jeremy fucking Shockey.
He was
so like bag. Also like take a look at Greg Olson's numbers and realize like he was another dude that like his body and his foot gave out on him. Mm-hmm. He would have been significantly higher on that list.
Well, yeah, and if they would have figured out how to use him properly in Chicago with Cutler,
absolutely,
those two should have just steamrolled. Jeremy Shockey was kind of a crazy person.
He was nuts.
So let's go back to the board here. What's your favorite Super Bowl game of all time? I'll go first actually. The Rams and the Titans. Where they lost by a yard. They lost by half a yard. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
That's a really good pick.
I mean, that was a fantastic game. I'm going to go the 28-3 Falcons and Patriots.
Yep.
And Tom Brady coming back and doing his thing.
And I don't know about you guys, but I know when I watched it, I was like, oh, it's not over yet. I was not that convinced that
So I'm gonna be completely honest. I was like, dude, Matt Ryan's finally gonna get his fucking ring. This game is over. It's 28-3, and then the bottom fell out. And then I got into a fight with my little sister. Because she's like, I'm leaving. I'm going to some country bar. And I'm like, you're going to miss fucking the Super Bowl to go to a bar? And I was like, I forgot you're fucking 21. Yeah, go to your bar, go do your thing. And then the greatest comeback in football history happened.
The 28-3 one was my pick, so now I don't know what I would take from there.
Well,
God, there's some good ones when we were younger.
there's
Off-
also a lot of shitty ones.
There's a
Like
lot of
shitty ones.
really bad
Yeah,
ones.
what was the Frisco Denver one where Frisco's up like 38-0 at halftime?
The
You know
Seattle,
which
the
Seattle two
Denver
Super
one.
Bowls were the ones I hated the most? Were the two that the Packers won. I hated
Yeah.
those Super Bowls. Those were the worst.
No, the worst Super Bowl, if we're gonna go worst Super Bowl, was when the Bears lost to the Colts. That was the worst Super Bowl.
That was pretty bad.
I was fucking hammered on Heineken Lights at my cousin's house. And I remember like being a sobbing fucking mess. And I was like, fuck.
And
'Cause
we
I was-
weren't used to getting like as a Chicago sports fan, we weren't used to getting to the end and then not winning. Like,
Right.
we're just not
Yep.
used because the
Right.
Sox won, the
Yep.
Cubs won. They never actually got there again. The Hawks lost in what 90,
93 against
93.
the Penguins. They got swept.
and then that's it though. Everything else, the Hawks won all those titles without.
That hurt. Like I was hammered.
Yeah.
And after Devin Hester's kickoff return, I was like, it's happening.
Yeah.
Like this is a team of
Mhm.
destiny. And
You know what was a
Peyton
good
Manning
Super,
happened.
You know what was a good Super Bowl was the Patriots. I think it was their first Super Bowl with the game winning.
Oh,
field
against
goal.
the Rams, where Adam Vinatieri,
And it-
yeah.
He did the Snow Angels in the.
And it was a massive upset. It was a
Yeah.
massive upset.
Yep.
That was Tom
Yeah,
Brady's
everybody was
rookie year.
expecting the Rams on that one.
That was
Tom
Tom
Brady's
Brady's
rookie
first
year.
Super Bowl. I think I'm going to go with that one. That was, I mean,
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
the one that the Steelers won against the Cardinals was also awesome. The way that all played out, like
The game
right
itself was good. I wish the ending was different.
well, but like right before halftime, wasn't there a scoop and score or a pick six or something to end
It
the
was
half?
It was James Harrison, right? That interception. Yeah.
Yep.
There was a lot going on.
That was a good game. Yeah.
So those two that you mentioned were the first two that I thought of, but then after that, those next two were probably like, yeah.
Chiefs 49ers was good. Also, the year that the lights went out in the Ravens
The Ravens
49ers Super Bowl. That was
God, can the
when
49ers win a modern day Super Bowl? Because I'm tired of them getting so close and losing. I want to see a 49ers Super Bowl.
Well, I was rooting for the Niners to win that because that was the Randy Moss year that he was on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 49ers need to win a Super Bowl soon.
Also, was Colin Kaepernick their starting quarterback?
Yeah,
that year?
that was the year. That was the year in the NFC Championship where he had like 200 yards rushing. You remember
He
that
ran
one?
all over Green Bay.
Yeah, just fucking destroyed Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
I was definitely rooting for the Niners that year. Don't tell Mom that if you see him. All right. When you see him on Saturday, don't tell him that.
That's
Speaking
right.
speaking of Saturday, so next Saturday, hang on, let me get this up.
It's a good
That's
segue,
what she
Brian.
said. Make sure if you're free, come out to the Wiener Circle. Svo and Yumper will be doing a podcast with the Chicago Bums, Sports Bums. 6:15, 2622 North Clark in Chicago.
At the Wiener Circle.
At the Wiener Circles. Don't forget to get your titty shake, right?
The $20 chocolate shake.
I'm
gonna
glad
buy-
you put this up here because I'm planning on going. I had no idea what time, and I was asked what time and when does that all start. And I was like, I don't know. So now I
And
know.
the time changed, didn't it? Didn't
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they have a birthday party and they were like, "Hey, we got to push you back." So
yeah, don't forget to go. Don't forget to go if you're in the area or you want to come out. I'll be there. Luke will be there. Obviously, Svo's doing the show.
yep,
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. And then I'll be going to the Burwood Tap afterwards for some
absolutely.
cocktails. So yeah, don't forget to go to that. And then next week, just for in general for us, for It's Getting Drafty, I am doing an episode on Friday. I'm gonna have a couple of people from Ass on. We're gonna do which is all sports scene for those of you who don't. I'm not gonna have like literal asses just in front of their cameras.
Well,
Story for another time. We're gonna do a draft of 1999 feature films. So
oh,
that'll
it's
be
weird.
fun.
I wish another podcast would have had a 1999 feature films on an episode.
I've never heard of it. I'm just doing what people suggest. So be on the lookout for that. I'm also going to be on Wednesday on playback for AEW Dynamite again with Baloney and CPG. We're pretty much making that a regular thing every other week. So be on the lookout for those things next week. Luke, you're going to keep doing your doing the beer shorts on the YouTubers.
Yeah. So if you tune into the From the 108 YouTube channel, currently I'm doing for National Stout Month is in February. February is National Stout Month. So 2 to 3 days a week, I will do a stout review where I chug a beer as best as I can because these imperial stouts are really fucking hard to chug.
I saw you do that. Yeah, I saw one yesterday. I'm like, that he looks uncomfortable.
I heard you're the best. I heard you're the best chugger and shotgunner on White Sox Twitter, though.
Yeah, the best. By far the best. I should shotgun one of these stouts at some point.
You should, because the other people that shotgun beers on White Sox Twitter suck at it.
They don't
not
finish
good at
their beers. They don't even
can't
finish
it. It's
yeah,
a waste.
They dump it out. It's like, oh, that was alcohol abuse right there. What you just did, wasting
Guys,
beer.
she's not in here.
She'll watch later.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
have my money ready, woman.
I thought you were talking about Dougie Fresh.
Wow.
Shoot. Oh, my bad.
I don't know how you guys chug that shit. I can't even sip that stuff.
Listen,
let alone
the best way. I'm serious about this. The best way to do a beer review and taste all the notes of the beer is if you slam it. You take a big rip of it and you just chug it. You're gonna pick up on every single flavor that they put in that brewing process. And sometimes I could say a lot of good things about the beer. Sometimes I'm like, hey, good beer, I guess. I put a blog out actually today. It's on the From the 108 site.
Oh, cool.
So what I'm doing is I'll do week 1 of National Stout Month and then have the 3 or 4 beers that I did for that week. That's on there. That blog came out today. I already did one for week 2 that you can find on the YouTube Shorts page. I'm going to do another 2 to 3 this week, and then I'll put a blog out probably Friday night again, Thursday or Friday night. Let's go every Friday. I'll probably do week 1, week 2, week 3 of National Stout Month, so people could find a way to see the videos easier. And then underneath each video, I do a quick little couple sentence recap of my thoughts on the beer.
cool.
So there's that. Don't forget to tune in, I guess, for the 108 tourney coming up. 3.5 weeks from now is the selection show.
Yeah.
I have notes in here, classified, can't show you, about the 108 tourney. It's going to be an exciting time in March. So in March, just tune in to 108 tourney. March 9th is the selection, the reveal show. So I'll be on there with Beef, Chirizi, and the sponsorship guy, the ad reader,
King Mac.
My Sock Summer.
Oh.
King Mac.
So looking forward to that on March 9th. That's follow my stuff. Brew Hand Luke on Twitter. You guys know all the other stuff. So
cool.
Also, coming late spring, late summer, Luke and I are gonna venture out and do a bi-weekly college football podcast where we talk about all things top 25 college football, recruiting, everything. We Luke and I have bonded over our love of college football. So we're gonna call that From Eugene to Tallahassee, covering all the college football in between.
So I will.
If you guys want to incorporate the playback stuff into it at any point, just tell me. We'll do that.
That's a great fucking idea, actually.
Yeah.
Can I add in one other bit about this podcast? Is we love college football, and we want more people to really kind of dive into college football and get a little more interested and promote the sport because it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
If you
don't pick a team and ride with it, and we'll help you learn about that team.
Yes, we want to get more people interested in college football instead of saying, yeah, college football is okay, I can't get into it that much. If you listen to the podcast and hear what we have to say from week to week, I would hope that you really start to get a little bit more interested in it. That's part of the goal, is to expand the interest, get more White Sox Twitter people interested in the sport too, and be more involved. And then pick a team. You don't have to be a Ducks fan. You don't have to be a Seminoles fan. Pick a team and ride.
And you
with
could
it.
pick two teams. You could be like, yeah, I'm a really big fan of the Gators and the Buckeyes. So
Oh no, I was going more Oregon, Michigan, but I do have two teams. Yes,
I think Spo wants to murder me, but
I've been wanting to murder you,
yeah,
but I'm not Luke. I don't pick murderers on my team.
except for Ray Lewis.
I picked them
I
before
picked
they
the
murdered
whole.
people.
I picked the whole defense, man. He was just part of it.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. This has been It's Getting Drafty in here. I can't believe I've done 9 episodes already.
It's crazy.
Wow.
It's bonkers. And then this is my 4th podcast in 6 days, my 3rd day in a row doing a podcast. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break this
Maybe
week.
you should go spend some time with your wife.
Why? I've been married 18 years, man. It's okay. No, that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to watch the Super Bowl tonight. Going to get some calzones. Going to get some cannoli and enjoy the game. So, but all right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Everybody in the comments, please make sure you like and subscribe. Also, thank you for being part of the show because you really are part of the show. I'm gonna go ahead and play this because I've always because ever since you guys put this on our StreamYard, I wanted to play this.
Okay, USA. Okay, USA. Okay, USA. Okay.
Oh, you have to stop it. But all right, thank you very much and have a good day. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
See you guys. Thank you.
Happy Super Bowl.